Yes.
Okay, guess what? That's money. Those tires recycled will give us light oil, heavy oil, steel, and rubber. Nobody ever thinks about that. But yet, you cannot put a rubber tire in a landfill. So, what is the solution? The solution is for some group to say, I'll take care of it, because all across America, that problem exists. It is there. Nobody's doing anything. We can. Now, how do we do it? It takes $6 million to buy the equipment to handle that project out of Rome, Georgia. But guess what? You can buy the same equipment out of China for $150,000. And there are some programs where we can find those dollars or the majority of those dollars and set those machines up. That is about as simple a project as you can think of because it's a no brainer. Every time you go to get your tires changed, you notice they charge you $2 or $3 for that to take the tire because they got to pay $2 or $3 for somebody else to take it off their hands. So that is a very, very simple idea that we can do. What is important as a group of individuals is to come together as one and take a look at how we support each other so that we're all strong. Because in any organization, it is only as strong as your weakest member. So we take a look at that. I am very interested in Brother Haynes and his security business. I mean, I'm just sitting here tickled to death. Brother Haynes, I wrote the Security Guard Act for the state of Michigan when the state of Michigan wanted to get rid of what they used to call them private police. And the state police said they didn't want that because they just said, black folks are walking around here with guns and no training. So I wrote the act. It's a Security Guard Act. Why do I pick on you, Brother Haynes? Because one of the things that's redeveloping in America today is security. So, Brother Haynes, we're going to introduce you to Ernest Johnson Jr., who's the first black in America to own an armored car service. You need to look at this, brother, and to see how the two of you can partner. He is creating another set of businesses all in the security guard area. So we'll set that aside. The young lady that's doing the massage therapy, a simple deal, okay? We take and we alter your business plan to connect it with rehabilitation. Did you know there's money for that? There's both state money and federal money. So we take a look and say, how do we put that to work for you and you help us because of your contribution for what we do for you? That's the sustainability concept that's out there. The other thing we want to take a look at is those who have the financial capability to sustain themselves, therein brings the power. There's only two things that really matter: economics and politics. So we want to be able to have not only a voice, but some control as it relates to politics, but we don't have any money. So what we do is create the animals that will bring forth the finances in order to do it. And what we do mergers, acquisitions, asset purchases, buyouts, foreign markets, minority business, women owned business. All of those is in our wheelhouse that we would be willing to share with you As long as you said, you know what, I want a piece of that. I got to work a little bit because I don't have any money. We understand that. Some of the best grant writers in the country are here in Michigan. And we have grant writers who don't charge us for grants because they write themselves into the grants. What do we want to do with that money? We want to build sustainability through financial capital projects. Now, I don't know what's happening where you folks live at, but here, and let me give you the word, fiat currency. Everybody on this call, if you don't know what fiat currency is, learn all about it because it's the money that you got in your pocketbook. Fiat currency is a promise. It's not real money. It's promised money. It's notes. And if you look on your dollar bills, you'll see something that says United States notes, Federal Reserve notes. It's not real. So now they're coming up with gold-backed currency. And this is October tomorrow. The program will start where they will be putting in new currency. What does that do for us? Some of the currency we have could be devaluated. So what is happening now that they're not telling us has to do with gold. Well, can we handle gold? Absolutely, you can. Do you know how to get it? Absolutely, you do. Knowledge is power as it relates to your sustainable projects. So calls like this is very important where we learn from the outside and we learn from each other. The world is changing. The world is not going forward, it's going backward. And those people are as desperate as they have ever been because we have something that's called NESARA. And I want you folks, I ain't gonna give you everything, I want you to go find some. NESARA, NESARA, and JSARA. Those are national programs where they're looking at debt forgiveness. They don't tell us that, but that's what's going on. And there's some places, some banks in the West Coast that have had mortgage forgiveness. So these two programs are saying we're going to forgive debts. Part and parcel of what you're seeing when you hear the president talking about this $1,400 for everyone, that is in order to give us relief, financial relief. I propose, without running my mouth a whole lot more, is that we have another session like this, and I will get your email addresses and I would forward to you various pieces of information so that you can be prepared and equipped to handle anything that comes down the line from this new government. I'm sure all of you are aware the great people at the Internal Revenue Service are not an independent agency anymore. The IRS now answers to the U.S. Treasury Department. Those are the kind of things that are happening very quietly, and they're not telling us. So I'm going to cut it right here without getting a lot of detail. I will take questions, and I hope that you got a few for me. But I'm asking Brian Theo to get me your email addresses. I will share the information with you. It's pages of it. But remember this, knowledge is power. And an organization such as this one, it has already the perception of power. We want to make it a total reality in order that we can make a difference in our community. I'm going to shut up and I'll take questions.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Coach? Does anybody have any questions for Coach?
Yeah. Yes, Coach.
Yes, sir.
So this is Ed Haynes, and I appreciate that the suggestion that you have. It's very interesting that you suggested what you suggested, because I am presently in the market looking for someone with an armored car company to transport gold. I have a client that wants me to handle gold shipments coming into Miami, Texas, and New York.
Okay.
So we need to have that conversation, because I'm looking for that person right now.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Secondly, I appreciate, Coach, the information that you just shared. Many people are unaware of what's going on. They're unaware of the fiat currency situation. They're unaware of, no matter what the circus looks like that we see on TV, it's all smoke and mirrors, as it pertains to what's really going on. So I want to thank you for being a sounding board and being able to share this information, because this is truly one of the situations where the first shall be last and the last shall be first if they do something about it.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
When you start talking about what you were saying with the acquisition of gold, does that also include the cryptocurrency movement that's happening?
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on how that ties in? Because I just want to share that with those that may not understand the viability of both of these markets.
The cryptocurrency situation is going to be one where it is a substitute for hard currency. So it's a very smooth way of moving money, bottom line. That's really what the reality is. There's a fight about cryptocurrency psychologically, because we're used to having money in our hands. We're not used to somebody else handling our money to the degree that it's coming down the road. So that's the short answer for you.
Okay. Very good. And on the gold, can you give a brief on, because some people just think gold is gold. So
Yeah.
Can you tell the difference, can you explain the difference between quality of gold, so we know that when you go and buy gold, you need to buy, and if that ties into gold that's produced outside the country versus inside the country as it pertains to the ability for gold to be confiscated?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Gold, G-O-L-D. Gold comes in several forms. The main form that gold flows is through gold bars, 999.9. Gold will be the standard. You've heard the word gold standard. The gold standard means the quality of the gold and the amounts of the gold, where the gold comes from. What you folks on this call I know don't know is that the Vatican 2 days ago had removed from its Vatican Bank 653 plane loads, the big C-130s, 653 loads, plane loads. That gold was taken from the Vatican and moved to Kentucky. Okay. Now there's gold in other forms. There are nuggets, there's powder. What we want to concentrate on, Mr. Haynes, my strong recommendation is just the gold bars.
Bullion.
Yes, that's my strong recommendation. And you and I can have an off the record conversation about that. And I will let you know where's gold right now, who's got gold right now that's African American, that we can lay our hands on gold at a competitive price. Now, we also have within my organization, Dr. Charles Kent, who we have licensed to transport gold out of basically Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone is a hot spot for gold. So we have the ability to get it. We got ability to buy it. We got the ability to sell it. Does that answer your question, Brother Hines? I mean
Absolutely.
Haynes, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay, now real quick, while I will help you locate, we'll talk to Ernest Johnson Jr. of cybersecurity about the, would you say, armored cars, but I'm strongly going to suggest we do like Jewish people do. You know what they do? You buy your own damn armored car.
Absolutely.
And I will get you and Ernest together, and he can show you how. He can tell you how. You guys might want to partner. It's okay. He provides security for us here. Okay, for
Okay.
my home, for my businesses. Some of his people drive my cars when I'm going to certain places, but I will make him accessible to you in the next 24 hours.
All right.
Next question. Did I answer your question first of all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to go ahead and segue into Ed, just to go ahead and give up some information about what you guys got going on with the Circle of Brotherhood. This is a community organization that has done some great things and is definitely a catalyst of people that we want to be able to showcase that's going on here in Miami and that we have a part of our collective developing right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Haynes, who I've had the pleasure of knowing since high school. He was a Marine recruiter when I was in high school, and they used to take us out to eat to try to recruit us, and we developed a great relationship in the music business, and through this whole situation, I mean, I have a literally, I want to say since like 1986, 87, I've known Ed Haynes. So he's definitely
Excellent.
been a mentor in my life. So Ed, go ahead and tell the people what you got going on.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I guess we'll start with in order to set the tone. Last year, in January, some of the brothers with the Circle of Brotherhood attended some candlelight vigils for some children that had been killed. And going to these churches at these candlelight vigils, it was realized that one major thing was missing with all of these children that were getting killed, and that is that at these vigils, it was full of women. There were no men. So as Circle of Brotherhood, black men taking responsibility for our own community problems, we decided to try to bring attention to the whole gun violence piece and the fact that nothing was being done. These murders were taking place and basically turning into cold cases. And we wanted to do something that would draw attention to it. So 9 brothers from the Circle of Brotherhood got together and formed a group called the Hunger 9. And we decided that we would do a hunger strike, take over a city block, and basically go out there and only consume water. And that's basically what we did for 21 and a half days. You can Google Hunger 9 Miami, and you'll see we got local, national, and international coverage on this hunger strike. Out of the hunger strike, each one of the 9 of us had certain epiphanies and certain things that we decided that we would do after our spiritual, I would say, enlightenment, going through that purification process. My particular piece was something called the Circles of Empowerment. And the Circles of Empowerment basically amount to a network of businesses where we would take individuals that may have been put into the criminal justice system and gotten out and are not given an opportunity to gain gainful employment. It may be individuals that may have had addiction issues, whether it's drugs or whatever. And it just may be individuals that's in the community that economically are not doing as well as they could based on the economic system we find ourselves in. So what I came up with in those 21 days, every night I would get on my laptop and I would design the infrastructure for these circles of empowerment, which if anyone is in front of a computer, you can go to circleofcommerce.com. That is circleofcommerce.com. And when you go to the Circle of Commerce, you will see another tab that says Circles of Empowerment. And that Circles of Empowerment will take you to about 50 some odd circles of businesses, of goods and services that we intend to assist small businesses across the nation and eventually the world with being one-stop shopping as a hub for economic sustainability and development. So what we did was we designed that system so now individuals that have beauty shops, barber shops, individuals that do mental health counseling, there's a circle of investment, there's a circle of economics, there's a circle of merchandise, there's a circle of entertainment. Each of these circles are going to be populated by businesses that do those particular issues. And one of the lead circles that we're working with now is called the Circle of Agriculture. That Circle of Agriculture right now in Miami, we're in the middle of a project where we're building 100 gardens for sustainable food production. We're teaching individuals how to grow their own food, because when we start talking about fiat currency and some of the eventualities of what's going to happen with the devaluation of the current monetary system that we have, there's going to be some shock waves that are going to go through the community, and we want people to be able to survive that comfortably by getting ahead of it. So right now, we're in the process of giving 100 different gardens started in the Liberty City area, working very closely with local groups to do that. Through the Circles of Empowerment, we were just back before COVID hit, we were getting ready to do a 10,000 strong men's conference where we were going to, bring in men that we were going to start taking responsibility. And that's why we actually just released the song, Teddy, I know you heard it, Queen. Wonder why we call you Queen, that we're going to release the video on October 10th. But, the Circle of Entertainment is doing this thing as well. So, there's various things that we're doing in the community in terms of educating ourselves and others. And one of the biggest pieces is what the bishop is talking about, because everything is centered around commerce. And no matter what a person does, there's over 2,700 religions on planet Earth. However, there's only one Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. We need to be educated on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I will end it with that it's very important that we understand what this game of life that we're living is really about, so that we can play it effectively and efficiently. And I see we're in the most capable hands of Coach. So I look forward to learning as much as I can. That's me.
Outstanding. Real quick, if I may interrupt, Brother Haynes, are
Yes,
you
sir.
familiar with aquaponics?
Absolutely. We are doing aquaponics in the Circle of Agriculture. If you go to circleofagriculture.com, you'll see aquaponics is one of the areas that we're into.
Perfect. That is perfect. One of the purveyors of that is out of Cleveland, Ohio. I will make him accessible to your organization to help any way that you may need it.
Fantastic. We love that.
Now,
Also, just on the security side, I want to end it with this. I have developed here in South Florida. I was the first black police officer in a city called Miami Shores, and from that I established Haynes Security back in 2011. And at this point, I will wager to say that I'm probably now the largest African-American owned security company in South Florida. Actually, tonight at midnight, I take over a new contract at Miami International Airport. I'm the only African-American that has a contract with Dade County Transit, the Metro Rail system and the bus system. and I am the prime contractor for Dade County Public Schools, which is the fourth largest school district in the United States. So we are, quietly using the knowledge that we've gained from people like Teddy T and yourself to try to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, so other individuals can see that it's not about the game is not about being told, it's about being sold, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Amen. You got my attention.
Now, I wanted you to, Ed, to talk about with the police brutality and the way you've been able to work with the police in Miami on elements like when they go in to give the warrants, and also when you guys kind of traded places with the criminals and the police. I want you to kind of give the people some information about that.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Basically, what happened with the Circle of Brotherhood, as we gained more and more notoriety on the street and became more of a go-to group when it came to actually not only quelling violence, because a lot of members of the group have spent up in the neighborhood of 22 to 25 years in prison. So, these guys are not just some like goofballs. These were players back in the day, so they still have respect. Well, what happened was, coming from a law enforcement background, one of our sayings in the group is, we have members from the streets to the suites. So with myself being a former chief of security for Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, being law enforcement officer, being a United States Marine, I have a unique set of skill set that I was able to share in the community to help individuals to understand the nuances of this whole police mindset. So what we did was we suggested to the director of Metro-Dade Police Department, if he really wanted to make a difference in what's happening in the street, that what I suggest that he would do is take some of these guys, most of which were convicted felons, and if you want their mindset to change about what it is that you do, then let's take them over to the police academy and put them through a one-day police academy. Mm-hmm. Teach them use of force strategies, and then put them in the exact same scenarios that an officer would be in, and let them see if their response will be any different than the officer. Well, once that occurred, those guys realized that under the same circumstances, with the same knowledge of the law, and with the same ability to utilize a certain amount of force, that they would do exactly the same thing as the police officer would do. So we would put them into scenarios and practicums that simulated being in a hostile environment, being in a riot scenario, being on a traffic stop, going into a convenience store, things going on. Every move that they made was the exact same move that an officer made. Well, these guys, some of them were in tears because they say, man, I didn't know. I have a totally different respect for the officer now, because I realized that in a split second, I made a traffic stop and the guy jumped out and started shooting, and I had to decide what I was going to do. So the police officers were all giving each other high fives. See, we wanted you guys to understand this is what we go through. I'm glad you see it now. We've been vindicated, blah, blah, blah. They got all excited. So now they felt good that their story was understood. And they thought that that was it. Until I told the director that was only half of the problem. Now we need you to send your officers over to us at the Hood Academy. And we brought the officers now, which now in Dade County it has become mandatory. All police officers, before they graduate the academy, they have to come through the Circle of Brotherhood training program for law enforcement. And those individuals come in, and the first thing I do with them, Brother Bishop, is I do an interview with them, and I get them to fill out a survey giving the background of their ancestors, where they came from. Some were from England, some from Spain, Colombia, these different places. And I just give them a worksheet for them to fill out that information. So, of course, everyone is proud to talk about the accomplishments of their grandfathers and everything that they've done and who their mothers were, some of which came from political powerhouse families in different countries and stuff. And then when we get ready to start the training, the first thing I do is I go down the list and reading off the accomplishments of their different families, and then I say, wow, that's very powerful. I say, however, and I take the papers in front of them and rip them up and throw them in the garbage and tell them, don't none of that matter, because your life is going to start when you get off the slave ship. Mm-hmm. So forget all about all of that you're telling me. I ain't interested in none of that, because that don't matter. All you're going to know is what happened from this point forward. And we put them in a reverse situation where they have to basically operate from a position of weakness, and then we put them through a series of exercises and practicums where they realize that if they grew up in the hood where there's the men are going to prison or had to sell drugs, the young boy is one of 5 kids in the family, and each of the other kids are from 5 different baby daddies because the rest of them are in prison, and they have to learn how to function in that environment and go through these scenarios. And when they come out of that day of the Hood Academy, they are in love with their brothers in the circle of brotherhood. And now there has been a bond that has been formed so that in our community, we are partners in cleaning it up. And it has been very, very successful. We have trained now over 10 police departments. We've trained the public defender's office, the state attorney's office. All of them have come to us for this training because the word is spreading about the effectiveness of it. So that is something that we've done as black men that have criminal records all the way up to myself that was a former law enforcement officer, to give it credibility. But it has grown legs now, and we are now in negotiations with the Dade County Chiefs of Police to train all of the law enforcement agencies in the county. We're also talking to the Delray Police Department, DeKalb County up in Atlanta. So that training is now being franchised in other areas as well. So I hope that satisfied what you're asking me, Teddy.
Definitely. Just showing that, in highlighting civil society development infrastructures, we have these things that are already in place with people that you see on the phone right now that we can be able to move collectively as far as in public safety and be able to engage with the other officials. One thing about the civil societies is that we have to hold government officials, local, regional, and national accountable, because the people are the government. You know what I'm saying? And the people, they ask the people, they pick the people to protect and to be able to present their ideals in the Senate that they want. Like the people that go up, they're representing us as the people. But I don't think that process is the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know what the Bill of Rights are. They don't know about the Constitution. And they're talking about this threat to democracy, and people don't even understand what democracy is. You know what I'm saying? And it's a really big situation, and those that do know these situations need to now take their ability to get out and teach these other people. Like the community are the people that are poor. These are the people that are being capitalized on. So it's up to the community to bring these people in, which is us. We got to bring these people in and then put them underneath situations where they're doing public service work for the community, where they could be sustained, and that they're not, just like Ed said, they're setting up the things for food so they don't have to be going through these situations. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain things that's going to happen to people that it's going to really be a tragedy, and certain people are going to be able to evolve through it, adapt, other people are not. And we want to be able to make sure that we can alert as many people as possible and get you the information and get ourselves in the position to be able to remedy these situations for as many people as possible. And so understanding sustainable developments understanding civil society development, infrastructures, you know what I'm saying, are the things that is really important. You know what I'm saying? I have um, K the Truth on the line. K, are you there? Is K the Truth in the building?
Hey, Teddy T, how are you?
All right. Now, Kate is into multimedia. She has a radio station. She's a PR person, but she also has a experience in working in organizations such as Black Panthers, situations like that. So, Kay, I want you to give um, everybody your information, what you got going on, and how you see what these things that we're doing, how they can benefit.
Teddy T, why you put me on the spot? I was unprepared. But yes, I used to be the national chief of staff of the Dallas Black Panther Party, also affiliate of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, which is based out of Dallas, Texas. I do multimedia. I have two websites that I primarily work with. Access Unlocked, which gives you new information on news, entertainment, and more. I also have a DJ coalition and a radio station, but under Pure Truth LLC, I also have a website where I give out news and information, as well as do promotions through my company, Kasia Kaya. We did have the until COVID hit. We was doing also a annual conference, bringing together new um, bring together community leaders as well as music executives who we would fly in into Dallas and provide the community with information on things going around in the world on the community side, and also give back through music. So we would kind of educate the audience through music, but really by kind of sneak it in with community leaders. So those are some of the things that I've worked on and currently doing. Kind of sound rushed because Teddy T put me on the spot. I was very unprepared. So yes,
Well,
and I
You did
still do
great.
a lot of community work here. So yeah,
what's some of the other community work that you're still doing in Detroit? I mean, in Dallas.
in Detroit, in Dallas. Well, I
Yeah.
still right now we kind of not doing too much due to COVID, but giving back through Action Change Educate, which is another company of mine. We take action to create change through education. So right now we're doing things with the homeless people on that level. But I would work. I'm on one of the community. I'm a community leader with Parkland Hospital, which is a large hospital in the Dallas area, and we would talk about infant mortality and things along those lines, and help pregnant women get their situation together, and then also try to help them not getting become pregnant again because they didn't have the resources in beginning, and also educate them on things like pregnancy loss and pregnancy prevention and pregnancy loss and
Okay.
prevention and
We lost you, Kay. Oh, seems like she's in the stratosphere. But
Yeah.
just to elaborate, go ahead, Coach.
No, no. I was just moving the camera where I could see. Okay. I'm all right.
But yeah, so I mean, these are just different elements of sustainable development, and each situation of having a PR, a multimedia person, is the means of being able to spread our information out to other people. And she's also been an organizer, like she said, with the Black Panthers and the Huey P. Newton situation. So these are the people that we have that's involved with us that have experience, and like we was getting into cognitive skills. Cognitive skills is very important. That when I found out about cognitive skills when I was working my business academy with the kids, and I learned, and I found out that a lot of the kids really learn better with cognitive skills, which is knowledge, wisdom, understanding, experience. You know what I mean? Placing things, putting them in the position. The same thing what Ed and them did with the police, being able to put them in the scenarios to be able to learn from actual real life situations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these kids are growing up and they're just being put in situations without any type of um, no looking after. Not they just the parents just drop them off, just pick them up. They're not really seeing what's going on, and they're getting a lot of influences on a lot of different levels. We want to be able to bring in a situation where we want to bring kids into a noble deed element and have them be able to grow from these deeds into being noble people. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we have community situations, but they have gangs. There's two different organizations, but one organization tends to draw the youth a little bit more because of what they offer. You know, the opportunity to make money, the opportunity to do manly things, illegal or legal. But it's the fact that they get the opportunity to do things that's not necessarily in what these other situations are. So we have to find a way to integrate, to be able to draw these kids not to the gangs, but to our organizations, to our communities, to do these noble deeds, to do these divine situations. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing: we're not guiding the kids, we're not leading the kids, we're allowing the environment to raise the kids, and this is a big problem. You know what I mean? These kids' minds have to be molded. They're at an early age, they're so susceptible to everything. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that we gotta not necessarily hide from them, but tell them that's not what they need to do right now. You know what I'm saying? They need to be focused on these situations and these different programs and different organizations that we're putting together. We want to be able to have that we can help remedy these problems because our our true elements is the kids because they're the future. In the present right now, we need to be making sure we're sustaining the kids, the future, the next 10, 20 years. And we got to shield them from whatever's going on with these government situations that is happening now because they don't understand what's going on. But the fact that Donald Trump has put X amount of Supreme Court judges in and federal court judges that going to have 40 to 30 to 40 terms, that's going to be a big situation that's going to affect the youth. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be able to put our attention on these kids and the future of our generation of wealth to be able to grow. So, when we talk about sustainable development, infrastructure, and civil society development, this is the means of having the capacity for nation building and to grow into autonomy. You know what I'm saying? So, Coach, do you want to add on to anything? That's what I'm saying.
No, I think that you covered it very well. Um, Certainly, there's some things that I'm just chomping at the bit to say, but I do understand that there's a time and there is a place. And I'm grappling in my mind how we can get together face to face and have some other conversations because there are some programs that are going on that it is best unsaid until we get to the next couple of levels. And I hope everybody on the call understands what I'm saying.
That's right. That's right. Mecca, is that you on the call?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I have my vice chairman, my partner that's involved with me and Coach on the line. And Mecca, I just like for you to give everybody your renditions of our sustainable development and civil society development that we're putting together.
Okay. That's a hard question right now, but I'll give it a shot. Basically, community development is established from numerous different levels, and what we wanted to do was create a platform that can establish a sustainable process of nation building as well as community development. So we established a civil society, in reference that we can set up these models locally as well internationally. Hold on a second. This thing going crazy. But in the retrospect of call, we're consolidating a consortium of people like yourselves that can come together for the common goal of raising our community back to a level of full sustainability. So in that, we want to establish MOUs with everyone that's interested in this endeavor, that we can come together and support each other's projects, synergize our efforts, if possible, if we have overlapping situations, and help grow a consortium that can sustain and logistically grow
each one's personal project or movement that they're establishing right now. So, and project creators and managers that that need each other, in different levels. So basically, what we want to do is just have this call where we can have people come on like yourself and others. Tell as many people as possible that's willing to do community development. To give a call. Explain their movement, lay out the ideas of their business, and there's usually someone on this line that can help, definitely. And that's what we want to be able to establish.
Thank you, Brother Mecca. Does anybody have any comments or questions for any of the speakers that have talked today on the line? We've got some other people that's on the phone. You guys haven't said anything, so I'd like for some of you guys to come out and give us some comments and questions what you've heard tonight.
Good evening. I'll just introduce myself. I didn't get an opportunity to introduce myself in the beginning. My name is Kenya. I'm in Delray Beach, Florida, and I'm a community advocate, mental health professional, and just, all around life learner. So I'm really interested in everything that's been shared this evening, and I want to, just say thank you for sharing the knowledge.
No problem, Kenya. Thank you for being on the call. Can we have someone else please step up and introduce yourself? If there's any questions or comments on the Ancient Mound Builders Temple of She conference call that we have every 2 weeks, any other people can come up with some information. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Ted, I do have a question for the sister who just came on. Now, you said you're in the mental health field. Do you have a program or firm? Give some more elaboration on that.
Sure.
In the Black community. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm currently the senior director for a community-based initiative called Healthier Delray Beach. Our focus is behavioral health with a heavy emphasis on mental health, which means that we look at health and wellness from a holistic perspective, from healthy eating, financial empowerment, racial equity, healing-centered communities, primarily in the Black community. And we are one of 6 communities in Palm Beach County that focuses on, these topics. So I have a website, it's healthierdelray.org. We are on social media, Instagram at healthier_Delray, and Facebook is just Healthier Delray Beach. I can put those things in the chat box, but we don't have boundaries to only service or network with folks in the Delray Beach community, but we are branching out beyond the county boundaries and even the state boundaries. So I welcome opportunities to converse and network with others, especially those like-minded individuals that have an interest in human behavior and studying the human mind.
Definitely.
Wow.
That's definitely a great situation that we can add on collectively to build with. And everything that we're working with is under an indigenous setting, as far as bringing it back to a natural state of understanding where we are sustaining ourselves with our own ideals, our own information. Colonization is a very serious mental health problem that we are facing in these communities, and the Black or white elements are also part of this mental health situation, and that's why we help to bring in the indigenous status of helping people to learn their ancestral setting. Everybody goes back to a tribe, and just being able to understand that information, connect back to that natural element, is the healing, the spiritual healing that we offer through the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding of growing and understanding your native ancestry living. And This is the reason why we have these calls as the ancient mound builders, Temple of She, to bring in these definitions and words that people can kind of look up and see. When we say the Empire of Washita, they dug the Mauya, which is one of the oldest indigenous nations from North America, Title 21593 in the United Nations. This is a real um, people, and we're connected with these people as far as being a part of their citizenship. We have Yamasi, we have Yuchi, we have the Gullah Geechees. These are indigenous settings that are here in Native America in North America that we want to get people turned on to. 33 tribes, 9 nations of melanated people that we want to get people connected to, and we move as a nation of people. You know what I'm saying? That's our focus of being here today, and Coach can back me up with that. This is the elements of that we're putting together. So, Coach, would you like to tally in with that as well?
And no, I think you covered it very well. As you were talking, the mind runs, and you know me well. I'm going to make a suggestion that at very near future, there be formed a holding company that can operate at arm's length for the various vehicles and programs and professionals that are on this call and others. And all I'm suggesting is you just consider what it'll do for you as a holding company and how we operate out of that holding company and into that holding company. Something to consider for several reasons. Logistical is one, legal is another, politically is the third.
Okay.
Now, Bishop, quick question. Now, would a CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution, be considered as that type of holding company?
You walk on a fine line. Holding company is a little different. It's very basic. What a holding company does, and let me give you real examples. Let's take a church. Let's take our friends at the Holy Roman Catholic Church. They're a church, but then they
That's
have
right.
other churches that are independent of the master church. It pays tithing into the master church, but it operates independently. Let's take my good friends Thrivent for Lutherans. They don't have a lot of money, $75 billion. They're a business, believe it or not. So Thrivent is the holding company for many of the churches. They don't make money. Thrivent tells them to sell them. They need to move. Thrivent moves them. But they don't manage the business. They don't manage the process. So a holding company gives many of the people, professionals, a way into a safeguard and a sustainability, including the ability to say, I'm a part of this, I need some money. This is the company that's backing, this is the organization that's backing me. So it does several things. Just want you to think about it lightly right now, but there's going to be another conversation because as we build these models together and make them stronger, we kind of want to put some walls around them for obviously our own protection.
That's it. That's it. Any other questions or comments for Coach Ed Haynes, Mecca?
I got a quick one with that. Usually, what fund these holdings come? Where do the funds usually come from? Like, are we talking like hedge funds or slush funds, and how they're applied to these holdings?
Well, I don't think you want to get into hedge funds right now. That's almost mixes apples and oranges.
Okay.
Holding companies can be funded from the body. They can also be funded from investment groups, and it's independent. And by the way, it can be profit or nonprofit. I say you make a profit holding company because most of you are non-profit. You can do that under the laws and regulations under the SEC. So it's a how about management? It's a management company.
Okay. Okay.
Coach, can that holding company be a private foundation?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
Can
the
I
thing.
can I take the privilege of giving you some information real quick? Let me give you my email address and let me give you a phone number, a direct phone number to me. Can I do that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, here you go. All small letters. HM.
Hold on, Coach. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay, email. Go ahead, Coach.
HM underscore Washington 09 at gmail.com. That is a private email address. My best phone number is area code 937 901 4228. If you have a question, you got a comment, you got a suggestion, you need a little guidance or whatever, that's why Teddy T has me on the line to be of service to this organization. That's my job. I take it seriously. I look forward to working with you and helping any way that I can.
And if I can ask everybody to leave their email in the chat, so we can be able to send out the information to everybody that Coach has to offer, and a couple other people that we want to be able to send to everybody, so we can keep you up abreast of what's going on. Any other questions or comments? Rufus, do you have anything to say? Um, Anybody else have any other questions or comments? If not, we're going to go ahead and exit the call. If there's any other questions or comments from anybody else on the call tonight.
Yeah, Ted, I wanna put out the Circle of Brotherhood website, which is circleofbrotherhoodmiami.org. Circle of Brotherhood Miami.org.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Any other questions or comments for anybody else? The next call will be in 2 weeks. We will send out information to everybody for that. I want to thank everybody for being on the Ancient Mound Builders Temple of She Study Group conference call. And if there's no one else with any other comments, I'd like to say peace and love and good night to everybody.
Peace and love. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Peace and love.